This is where I do think Australia is genuinely leading the world. It's identity politics. Now, this is, again, this was something which started off fairly innocuously. Of course, who could disagree that you should be respectful towards ethnic minorities, you should never indulge in anything that's going to sound abusive or insulting. That's just common sense. That's just all common courtesy. But where we've ended up is in a movement now that's encouraging all of us to see ourselves via tribal labels. Now, it can be the case, and it started off in a campus where identity politics took root. It was seen for a while. We wrote about it in the magazine as being a sort of student malady. But then it grew when these students actually ended up getting in the outside world and taking over the HR departments of companies. Then all of a sudden, all employees are now suddenly regard themselves as in a tribe, either straight or gay, cis or trans. You end up having to regard yourself as an ally of some group. All of these little ways where not the government, but companies are encouraging all of us to see ourselves, not what we've got in common, but what makes us different. Now, all this is, and this quickly mutated into a kind of new authoritarianism, where visible displays of support were required, and dissent was seen basically as bigotry, sometimes even as a hate crime. So you had women's rights campaigners hounded as transphobes, and police called in to arrest likely transgressors. Now, I think you were quite lucky in Australia here that the Prime Minister was never able to say what the voice exactly would be, what form it would take. Now, of course, I assume that the idea was not to repeat the mistake of the 1999 referendum and present too much of a target, but because there was nothing specific to discuss, you had a debate instead on the general principle. Do we wish to be divided by this? Do we wish to be divided in this way? What is it that binds us together as a nation? Why is it that we're a pretty successful democracy?